Good day, everyone. Today we're going to do day 4, which is compound inequalities. Compound inequalities consist of two inequalities joined by the word and or the word or. An example would be x is greater than -2 and x is less than 6. There's an example of the and. Right? Or we could have x is less than 1 or x is greater than 3. So graphing them is where it changes because we have two graphs in one. Okay. So the first time, the graph with a compound inequality that uses the word and, okay, is example here, and is your answer is going to be where they overlap. So first one we have x is greater than 3, so here's the graph, and x is less than 7. So both of these things have to happen for us to have our answer. Okay, so the first one, x is greater than 3, x is less than or equal to 7. All right, where they overlap, okay, is this area right in here. So this is the answer. Okay, now our interval notation, because we will have to do that, is again, okay, what is graphed? So we have 3, okay, to 7. Now you notice we don't have infinity on this one because there's no arrows. All right, 3 is included, so we're going to use a bracket, and 7 is included, so we're going to use a bracket. Okay, so whenever we have the word and, it's the overlapping. Okay, and overlap. Okay, make sure you get that down in your notes. That's going to be something you want to refer to. Now, the next one is when we have an or. So right here we have x is less than -2 or x is greater than 1. So again, we graph them. The first one, x is less than -2. X is greater than or equal to -1. All right, and the graph on this one, on or, is just going to be both of them put in one graph together. All right. Now, interval notation on this one is we have two separate graphs in one. You notice they don't overlap, they don't connect. We have two arrows, so we're going to have infinity and negative infinity. So we're going to go ahead and graph our right interval notation for this one, which would be negative infinity to 2, and 2 is not equal to. You're going to write the word or, okay? Then it's 1 to positive infinity, and 1 is included, equal to, and then infinity has parentheses. So those are what's going to happen. Now we have to solve problems. So you have to know and is overlap or is both. Okay. So and is where they overlap, or is you're going to have both the inequalities in the answer. All right, next one. This one we are using the word and, so we are thinking overlap. Okay, so let's go ahead and graph the two. All right, all real numbers that are greater than -2. So my number line. All right, greater than -2. So we got -2. Okay, all over here. All right. And then the next one is less than 6. All right, so we got open and less than's to the left. Okay, so we're going to look at these and where are they overlapping. Okay, so our final graph is going to be the overlapping. So it's going to go from -2 to 6. Okay, 2 is open up here. Okay, so we're going to bring this down here. This graph's going to the right. Now in this graph starts at 6 and goes to the left. So we're going to do a circle and they overlap in the middle. Okay, so the ands are going to overlap most of the time in the middle. Okay, there are exceptions to that. All right, so this is our answer right here. Okay, now let's put it in interval notation. So I'm going from -2 to 6, and neither one of them are included, so it's parentheses. All right, or all real numbers that are less than 0 are greater than or equal to 5. So this we have or. Okay, so this is going to be both. On these, when we graph these, since it's both of them, we're just going to graph both of them on one graph. All right, so I'm going to draw a large graph. Okay, all real numbers that are less than 0. So I'm going to go ahead and put 0. Less than 0. Here's my graph. All right, or greater than or equal to 5. So 5 would be over here. Greater than or equal to means I'm going to shade. And we're shading all the way to the right. Okay. So or, there's both my graphs in one. Now interval notation, we're going from negative infinity to 0. All right, and we have parentheses on both of those. Or 5 to positive infinity. 5 is equal, so we're going to go ahead and do the bracket, and infinity has parentheses. Next one. This one, you have to be careful. You look at 2 inequalities. This is a compound inequality in one. Okay, so it's 2 compound inequalities, but they are together. So this is like having 2 equations crammed into one. Okay, so instead of having 2 sides of my inequality, I have 3 sides. Whenever you see this, this is an AND problem. Okay, so this is an AND problem, which means overlap. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and rewrite it. Okay, I know this looks a little weird, but let's go ahead. I'm going to draw my lines just like I would. It's going to separate. So again, instead of having just 2 sides in an equation, we also have a 3rd side. So the same rules apply. What you do to one side, you have to do the other 2. Okay? But here's my variable. So I want to get rid of what's in this side of the equation with my variable. So I need to get rid of the minus 4. So I'm going to add 4. Now I also need to add 4 here and here. Okay? So negative 3 plus 4 is 1. I'm going to bring down my inequality. Okay, m is left, and then negative 1 plus 4 is 3. Alright, so this is an overlap. This one's actually easier to graph this way. So my graph is going to go from 1 to 3. Okay, 1 to 3. Make sure you put them in order. So 1 to 3. Okay, and m is greater than or equal to 1. So I have m is greater than or equal to 1. So m is going in this direction, greater than or equal to 1. But m is also less than 3. Okay, which again, there's my overlap. Right. Interval notation, there's only one shaded area, and it goes from 1 to 3. 3 is equal here, so I'm going to go ahead and do my bracket. And then the 3 is open, so it's not equal to. Okay, so there's your interval notation and your graph. Alright, last one. Here's OR. So OR means both. Okay, so I'm going to graph both of them in one graph. So you need to solve them separately. They're not together. So I'm going to go ahead and solve this one. Divide by 3. I didn't divide by a negative, so I'm not going to flip. Alright, now this one, subtract 5. So negative 4t is less than negative 4. Now here I'm dividing by a negative, so I need to flip my inequality. Okay. Alright, we know this is both, so I just need one graph. And my smaller number is negative 3, my larger number is 1, so I know it's going to go from negative 3 to 1. Okay. And x is less than negative 3. Okay. And then t is greater than 1. Okay. There's my 2 graphs. Okay, and 1, so now interval notation. Now we have 2 separate shaded areas, so we're going to have 2 intervals. The first one's going negative infinity to negative 3. Okay, or, okay, keep your word in there. This one is 1 to positive infinity, and there's parentheses on both of those. Okay. All right, make sure you write in your notes, OR means both, one number line. And means an overlap, so you need to do the 2 number lines, and then your answer is your overlap between them. Okay. Have a great day.